Hi, I'm Miss Kimberly from EVPL Red Bank, and this is part of our STEAM series. And STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. And the science we're doing today is working with parachutes. Now, you've probably seen, maybe you've seen in an action movie when the heroes leap out of the plane and float down on their parachutes, or to land safely on the ground, or maybe you've seen a skydiving show where the skydivers, once they open their parachutes, they can do all these acrobatic stunts and things with their parachute. Well, we're going to do some little experiments to see if we can determine what makes the best parachute. So we're going to try making out of different materials to see how that affects it, or making them in different shapes to see how that affects how well the parachute works. So what you need for this experiment, you need some string, you need some scissors and a hole punch, or something that works well to poke holes in things. You need a skydiver, and what we're using a little Lego minifigure. These work really well. If you have the little plastic army figures, those work. If you don't have anything like that, anything that has, just that little bit of weight to act as a skydiver. And next, you need at least 3 different materials to make your parachute out of. We're going to make ours out of paper, fabric, and plastic. And we'll see which one of those works the best. So we're going to start with our paper. Now, the shape we're going to start off first with is a circle. You've probably seen, especially in pictures, maybe some of the old military movies, you've seen them coming down, and their parachutes are actually in the shape of a circle. So we're going to see how well that works first. Now, once we have our shape cut out, you need to detach the strings to it. So to do that, we need some holes in this. Now, you want your holes, probably about 4 holes poked in this, and you want them spaced evenly around the circle. So I'm just going to punch 4 quick holes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Got our 4 holes. Now we need our strings. If I can find where the end went. There it is. All right. Now it doesn't need to be really long, but it needs long enough, probably about that long enough for our skydiver to hang at the end of it. So, cut 1 string. Now remember, we need 4 of these, and you want them all to be the same length. You don't want them uneven, because then you end up with a lopsided parachute, and that's not going to work very well. Although that might make a fun other experiment. So you can use the first one to measure the rest of them to make sure they're all the same length. So that's 3. And last one, 4. All right, that's our 4 strings. Now what you do is you want to tie the one end through the holes that you poked in your parachute. You want to give it a double knot so it doesn't come undone. That's a really bad thing if your strings come undone while you're parachuting. That's 2. Now we need 3rd one. Oops, that didn't tie very well. Okay, 1 more. Again, you don't want an uneven parachute. It'd be interesting to see what it did if it was uneven, but that's not what we're testing today. All right, we have our 4 strings on our parachute. Now we need to collect them all in the middle, so gather them all together. And you're going to tie the 4 strings together. You want to make sure that the ends are all even. 1, 2, where'd the 4th one go? Ah, there it is. And you don't want to get too tangled up in there. And number 4. There we go. All right, just tie those in a quick knot. So now you've got your parachute. And now you need to attach your skydiver. So we have our little Lego minifig. And you want to attach them right down by the end of it where they all collect. All right, now we have our parachute. Looks like he's skydiving upside down. That's all right, that'll still work. All right, we're gonna test this out. So you need a nice open space. So this works right over here. Hold it up so the parachute is nice and open, and then just let it go and see what it does. That actually worked pretty well. We'll give it another try, just to make sure. All right, got them all set, got it nice and open. And a nice landing. Our skydiver survived his landing. All right, so a circle made out of paper actually works pretty well as a parachute. But what if we made it out of fabric? All right. We're going to take our skydiver off. We'll set our paper one aside. And I have a fabric one here. Now in the fabric circle, hole punch is probably not going to work very well. So all you do is fold it over a little bit and snip a little bitty hole there. See? So make sure, just like you had the 4 holes for our paper one, we've got 4 holes for our fabric one. And I've got the string already cut for that. So just like before, we're going to attach the 4 strings through the holes. Make sure you knot it well. If your string comes out when you're skydiving, that is not known as a landing, that is known as a crash. And that's not what we want to do here. That's 2. Number 3. And number 4. All right, and just like before, collect all your strings together. Make sure you've got them all to about the same length and tie your ends together in a knot. Where's the other 2? There it is. And last one. Again, make sure they're not all twisted up. And there we go. All right. Got our strings. We just need our skydiver. So we'll attach him at the bottom. All right. We have our skydiver. Oops, we got them all twisted. We have our skydiver ready to go. So let's test it just like we did with the paper one. Get to our nice open space. Now if you can't get, you want to get it nice and high, so if you can't reach real high, either stand on a chair or see if you can get a grown-up to hold it up for you. Okay, open our parachute up, and that was actually a little bit faster than the paper one, so he landed alive. Might have some broken bones though. So let's see if we can try it again just to be sure. All right, got him nice and open up, and that one worked pretty well. He's still landing a little faster than the paper one did. So I think the fabric works pretty well, maybe not as effectively as the paper one. So let's try one more material. We're going to do this with the plastic one. As you can see, I've already done the strings and knot for that one. So this is a nice flexible plastic. So do you think this will work like the paper, or will it work like the fabric? Let's test it out. Attach our skydiver. Okay, just like before, in our open space, open it up, and That was a little bit of a crash. He survived. May not entirely be in one piece. Let's try that once more. Little bit of a rough landing, but he's still alive. So, the plastic works fairly well, not as well as the others. So now we've tried 3 different materials, but let's change it up a little bit. Now when you're doing an experiment, you usually just want to change one variable at a time. A variable is one of the items you use in your experiment. Like this one, we were changing the material. What would happen if we changed the shape instead? So let's get these aside. What about if we made triangles? Do you think these would look better or worse than a circle? So we've got them out of the same materials that we did the circles. We've got paper, fabric, and plastic. So just like before, you need to punch the holes in it. In this for the triangle, we punched 1 at each point and tie your strings on it. So we just need 3 strings for this one. So we're going to attach our figure. And let's see how, we'll do these in the same order that we did with the circles. We're going to do paper first. So let's hold it up, open it up, and a little fast, but you notice it did something a little different than the circles did. This actually kind of glided. Watch it again. We'll do it again so you can see it. Oh, he's all tingled. He's gonna get dizzy doing this. All right, ready? Whoops, that one got tangled up in me. We'll try it one more time. Ready? Oh, that was not a successful one. I think our strings got a little bit twisted. So, we saw how the paper triangle worked. Let's try the fabric triangle. So do you think this will work like the fabric circle did? Let's test it and find out. All right. Oh, again, you want to make sure that your strings are not all twisted up and tangled up. I think that's why the last one on our paper triangle didn't work very well. So you got nice and loose. Again, he's skydiving upside down, but that's okay. And that was a fast landing. And he landed on his head too. Not what you want to do when you're skydiving. All right, ready? Try one more time. I don't think our triangle works as well as our circle. So let's try one last one. We're going to do our plastic triangle. All right, let's attach our figure. All right. So, think this will work better or worse? Let's try it out. It actually worked a little bit better than the fabric one. So, try one more time. He survived. All right, so we know the plastic actually works fairly well, but I don't think the triangle works as well as the circle. So we've tried 2 different shapes. What if we tried one more shape? What about if we use a rectangle? Think this will work more like the triangle or more like the circle? Or it'll do something entirely different? We don't know. So, we have our paper rectangle first. Remember, we're doing it in the same order that we did the other ones. It's important when you're doing experiments to be consistent. All right, make sure your strings are untangled. All right, got it nice and flat. Ready to go? Boy, he's going head down on this. Ready? That was a nice landing. He landed safely, no broken bones. Perfect landing. So apparently, the rectangle works pretty well. We'll do one more. Ready? There. Did pretty well. He survived. All right. That was our paper one. Now remember what we did next? Fabric. Oh, we're a little tangled up here. All right, there we go. All right, let's attach our skydiver. Okay, ready? Got it nice and open. Remember how the fabric worked for the circle and the triangle? So let's see if it does the same for the rectangle. And survived, but it was a fast landing, so it might have been a little bit rough for him. Let's try one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That was not a good landing. So apparently the fabric did not work as well. All right, we have one more left. Remember, when you're doing in a science experiment, it's good to be comprehensive. That means it includes all the different possibilities. So we're going to do our plastic rectangle. All right. Now remember how the plastic worked for the circle and for the triangle. Do you think it'll be the same for rectangle? That was a pretty good landing. He's alive. All right. Should we do one more? Last one. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Very nice landing. He survived his landing to skydive again, even though he landed on his head. All right. So we've tried 3 different materials. We tried 3 different shapes. So which one do you think worked the best? You notice some of them may have worked differently. Some of them came straight down. Some of them had a nice little glide to that. So maybe the shape you use depends on what you want to do with it. If you've ever watched the skydivers, the one that do the acrobatics and everything, what shape was their parachute? It's actually a rectangle. So maybe for that, you might need something like this shape. But maybe if you want to come straight down, maybe you need a circle. So what do you think would happen if you use different shapes? So this is where you get to try it out at home. So see if you can try maybe some different shapes than these. Or what if you have different materials to use at home? Like we had the paper, but this is a nice thin flexible paper. What if you had something stiff like cardstock? How would that work? Or what if you had a heavier fabric? Or a thinner plastic, maybe something like a plastic bag, would that work? So try some different materials, some different shapes, and see how your experiments come out. So also, if you want to try some of our different STEAM videos, you can follow us on social media, or you can go to our webpage, evpl.org, and we have several of our previous videos on there that you can try out. Thank you. Bye.